right. Welcome to Buzzer Beater 2025. This is the NAIA. Let me say it like this. We're the number one NAIA tournament reaction show. I'm your host, John Cookman. And yeah, it's been a while. It's been a year. I can't believe it. I'm so sad we didn't do a lot of these leading up. But guys, we've been extremely busy in our sports broadcasting world. But we've kept our eyes on it. And we know what's going on. And I am so excited about this 2025 national tournament. This is going to be a lot of fun. And we got a lot of things to talk about. James Lex is here today, and Zach Nelson. I don't know if you got a camera for Zach, James, but
maybe we'll get him
at some point. The people love Zach. He's our bodyguard, by the way, all the way from California. Big Zach Nelson. It's good to see you, Zach. I actually have it on my confidence monitor. All right, so today is our bracket reveal for the NAIA National Tournament, where the quest for the red banner begins. All right, James, Zach, I want you to imagine this. All right, 64 teams across the United States, all over the country. Each have been clawing their way into this tournament through a blend of auto bids and nail-biting, often controversial at-large selections. Out of the mix, there are 34. All right, I'm going to start running some numbers. So you guys open up your ears and maybe take some notes if you really want to know how this thing works. But and hopefully James will be able to match up some graphics for us. I'm going to try to go through it pretty fast so we can get to the real butter of today's subject. So out of the mix, there's 34 teams that have earned their spot as an auto bid. That means you won your conference championship, either the season or the tournament championship. And then that's going to leave 30 teams to be selected from a tournament selection committee. All right, you guys following? All right. So they're handpicked by the NAIA's 13-member committee, and they are armed with insights from the Area Ratings Committee. We call them ARCs. There are 6 ARCs in the United States. And what we may go over, well, there you go. You got it. Thanks, James. We call them, we'll go through the names later, but there's 3 of them that you can see have 3 conferences in them. And then there's 3 others that have 4 conferences. Each conference is allowed to have a rater. That rater comes to the table. So when you see like Southwest, the Continental, the Red River, and the Sooner Athletic conferences, they have 3 on the committee. Well, each one of these conferences will send one representative from that ARC, and they will have a seat at the table. All right, so, and maybe we can get into how the committee works a little later. If you got questions, just ask. And I see you. I'm going to just make one interjection, James, real quick. I'm going to get off track here.
No.
I know my haters. They wanted me in the Morningside sweatshirt. And they were sold out. I actually went up to Morningside in the summer to make amends, and nobody was on campus. It was late May. I was on my way to Wyoming, and I have a Surf Wyoming shirt on there. You can see.
Yeah, it's that camera's acting up. Might need to get
all right, so James trying to get some. I know our cameras are freezing, so they're trying to figure it out. All right, so I got this Surf Wyoming shirt as representation that I went up to Iowa. It was on my way to Wyoming. I went through Sioux City and took a gander. That is a lovely area. I stayed on the Nebraska side of the river, the Marriott, across from where the arena was, just so you know I was there. Anyway, I'll get back on track. I just wanted you to know. I knew I might start getting hate mail when I didn't have my Morningside shirt on today, and I should. You guys did incredibly good last year, and well, I can't wait till we do that pairing because I got some things to say about Morningside. All right, so the first two rounds, as we go through this field of 64, there's going to be 6 total rounds. So the first 2 rounds of the 6 rounds, they take place in 16 host pod sites. They use the term pod sites. Those are going to be scattered across the United States, and each pod hosts 4 teams, and they will play 2 games. The winner of the second game, so it's just like you would if you were under one roof. They will play to a winner in each pod site, and those are 16 pod sites. They send all 16 teams to Kansas City, and at the great municipal auditorium in Kansas City, the final 16 will be played out. That'll be 4 games to get to the actual championship. So a total of 6 wins you must have to be claimed the Red Banner champs. All right. Hopefully I didn't lose you. That makes sense. I know there's a lot of folks out there that already know how this works, but just bear with us because there are quite a few that do not. All right. So here, James, can you hear me? All
yes,
right,
I
I'm
can.
back. All right, I'm back. I see the camera is working, and I just, this is where the plot thickens, and so, it's time to get locked in. This year's tournament is already igniting debate. Can you feel it? Have you seen it, James?
Oh,
Have
just
you
a
seen the
little bit,
debate?
just
Okay.
a little bit on Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it
X.
this year.
Yeah, I like to call it Twitter. I'm old school. The Twitter. So the biggest controversy, now there could be a few out there, but the biggest one, I think you all know, I don't think it needs any introduction, but I'm going to introduce it just in case you don't. LSUS ranked 5th in their conference. 5th. Snagged an at-large bid over teams that had better stats.
They did.
That all the way down, just kind of all the way down, and we'll get into it a little bit with our new stats engine. But so the automatic bid goes to LSU, Alexandria, and Xavier, top 2 teams, and it's a big conference. So the way big conferences work, you're allowed 2 automatic bids. Those 2 bids went to LSU, Alexandria, and then Xavier.
Yeah.
All right, that leaves 3 very close teams to maybe get a 3rd bid, maybe a 4th, maybe a 5th, but there was only one other one given, and these teams were tight. And when I say tight, you'll see that the stats are very, very tight. So this was tough. And it looks on the surface like Shreveport may have gotten some love somewhere, somehow, to skip over Our Lady of the Lakes and Texas A&M University at Texarkana. Both teams very good. Here's my personal take. I think both teams should be in the tournament.
Our Lady
doubt.
and Texarkana.
Yeah, I think
Both in.
so. I know there's going to be a lot of mail out there that says Red River they can't get 4. What are you talking about? but I believe they could get 4, maybe even 5. And you can see right there, Our Lady of the Lake and Texarkana tied in conference play.
Yeah.
Shreveport, worst record. And in stats, RPI, you run it down.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the big one. Texarkana and Shreveport playing the last game of the season.
That did not go well. Zach, do you have the box
score? It did not go well for Shreveport. Texarkana beat them down 21 points. And so that leaves us kind of mind blown.
That was the final game for Shreveport this season, I believe, right? That was the conference tournament. Like, that was it. That was that's the end. That's not regular season. That's tournament. So
yeah, I think that
not the statement win you want.
The case,
right? Like, you want a good statement win if you're trying to get in as an at-large. You kind of know you're on the bubble.
And they
21 point loss.
They were on the bubble and they did it. Texarkana.
They did.
So.
And in the first half, look,
the controversy doesn't end there. So Coach Blankenship, he's on the committee, and we're just going to, we're not trying to spill tea. None of this is secret. There's no one's keeping secrets. It's just if you don't know how to look through all the stuff, you don't know how to find the information. So for LSUS, their coach is Coach Blankenship. Now, Coach Blankenship is a stand-up guy. I don't know him personally, but the coaches I do know in the NAIA, there's a lot that's thumbs up, vouch, stand behind him, and say he's known to do the right thing, and it's just a weird situation, and he is on the selection committee, so he's got a seat at the table to make his voice heard, and I know I get it. I get the controversy. And when you run the numbers, I mean, nothing seems to lie about this, about how it should have gone. So if you get 3 teams in, it seems like Our Lady of the Lake, maybe Texarkana, there is kind of this coin flip between those 2 teams. If you look at stat for stat, I think OLLU wins the 49-51 kind of thing between them and Texarkana. But they're both, I think, on paper, tournament teams. So there's these deeper arguments that go into, how are you playing in your last 10 games? I mean, you can read all this in the selection committee guide on the NAIA website. So there's a lot of criteria. And this is not an easy decision at all. Imagine trying to pick 30 teams. There are going to be teams left out. It is just unfortunate that it happened here. Now, where I might take the argument, I'm going to, because I got the mic, right? So I'm going to take this argument maybe in a different direction, and say, I think Red River deserves more than 3 teams in, at least 4. Possibly 5, and I'm not saying that Shreveport doesn't deserve to get in, but what I would say is if Shreveport deserves to get in, then for sure Texarkana deserves, and for sure Coach Thompson at Our Lady of the Lakes. And they had a really good season. They had a tough stretch, and we could talk about tough stretches. Every coach knows that you're going to go through it. You can't just hang all your weight of an argument on a little blip kind of in the season. They didn't end out so great, but it wasn't terrible. It wasn't absolutely terrible, and I definitely don't think that argument works that their final 10 games was the end of their run here. So I think they played well enough. They deserve to be in. So here's where I take it.
Hey, John, just a heads up on that. You are not the only one. Mr. Donald Blankenship said, no relationship to Coach Blankenship, but Our Lady of the Lake and Texarkana should have danced.
There you go.
You're not alone.
There you go. I mean, there's just no way around it, right? All right. So we're not. This is not about the coach. I know it looks like it. The Coach Blankenship, he's in a tough spot, right? And he's believes in his team, and you want your coach to believe in your team and all that. So this is no hate or shade thrown to Coach Blankenship. I'm going to make the argument that I think Red River was actually better than people would give them credit for. And we ran the numbers, and their top half winning percentage was right on par with almost every other large conference. I mean, we're talking about within 1 percentage point. So if you take the top half wins and losses, you do the winning percentages, overall, you will see that they have a very healthy winning percentage in a very large 12. Is that 12 or 13, James? I think it's
12.
12. And so their top 6, that's pretty deep.
13.
They can produce a very good winning percentage. So this Red River Athletic Conference is better than most will give them credit for. And I think that they should have gotten 4, and there's a good, strong possibility of 5. And here's the argument. Southern states, they get 6. Crossroads gets 6. Surely we can find a way to, that is a little heavy. 6.
So I do that graphic of the conferences.
Especially when you have so many bubble teams. So think about it. William Carey. Everybody wants to go, right? Everybody wants to go. But when you do the rundown on the numbers and, oh man, I know I'm going to open up a can of worms about how strength of schedule works. And we, here, and we talk about this a lot here at Champion Sports. I'm just going to say it. NAIA gets strength of schedule wrong. It's just really wrong. The RPI wrong. They need to just ball it all up and throw it away. There's a better way. I think we've gone to work on this, and we think we see a better way. I don't know that anybody up there cares, but I'm just telling you there is a better way, especially with AI. As potent and strong and easily accessible as the AI engines are out there, you can find one that is going to really help you. We already have, and we've created some programs just in like 24 hours that would gather all the information and really do a deep dive. And it's going to be tricky designing this matrix to create a strength of schedule. I want to call it strength of outcomes, and how strong were your outcomes for your schedule. And then there's this weighting, but we'll get into that way on later. We'll air other things this week as well, so I will reference that. But Southern States has 6. And Crossroads had 6. You take 1. I'm not trying to shortchange anybody from getting in. I love it. I wish they had 128 teams. Just some things are not feasible. So if we got to knock people out and keep people in, I do think we at least get 1 more to the Red River because it's a large conference. We take 1 off of the 6 from each of the 2 other big conferences. They get 5. And now you at least get 4, and all the big conferences get 4. So it's a bit of a travesty to have such a big conference that, James, you can interrupt me anytime.
Yeah, GPAC, they got 5 in, but Tom Whitaker, he's a GPAC fan. All 3 of those teams, referring to the Red River, LSU Shreveport, Texarkana, Our Lady, and Tougaloo would beat Dakota Wesleyan on a neutral site.
I'm not going to argue with any that idea because
GPAC standings.
This is not the top 64 teams in America. This tournament, it's not the way the NCAA works. Division I, Division II, Division III, NAIA. I don't know of any national league that works where you have a top 32 or a top 64. This is for your final tournament. That's just not the way tournaments work. We know that, right? So let's dispense with the idea that it's going to be the best 64 teams. All these teams we're talking about would definitely be in if that was the case. So you're right. Would they beat a Dakota Wesleyan? There are some other teams that got in. I hate to put these because it sounds like I'm being negative, but I'm really not. But I think the most obvious and glaring is the IU South East. Was it Southeast or Southwest?
Yeah. getting their tournament final.
Yeah,
River
they shocked the world going through winning the conference championship.
Well, hey, they did what they had to
James.
do. Those are the rules. It's not their fault. Those are the conference rules. Just get to the tournament.
No, they did, and kudos
did it.
for them. I
You
love
know,
that David versus Goliath.
Yeah.
David wins, right? We love that story, and that's what makes the like a field of
March
64. Yes, it's the madness of March, right?
Yeah.
So no problem with that.
Yeah.
That's the rules, but we just need to keep in context that this is not going to be the best 64 teams in the NAIA.
No.
It just doesn't work that way. And so when you have teams like that, Dakota Wesleyan, there was a couple others I noticed. We'll hit it as we go through. Yes, we could look at these other large conferences and say, these higher mid-tier teams would definitely kind of show out in that particular matchup. Although you got to keep in mind, last year, boy was I wrong on Evangel. We kind of joke around the Morningside thing. Morningside was really good. I mean, that was just kind of more of a thing. I really missed it on the Evangel thing, and as well as everybody else.
Yes, they were the 15 seed for a
2
reason.
versus
for
15.
a reason.
So, and then they make a run to the 8. If I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
they lost in the round of 8. So these things can
And almost
happen.
beat Grace. They were hanging in there for a good bit. Like
I wouldn't
played
say
real
they
well.
almost beat Grace, but they were not embarrassed. It was a
No.
good game, a great competitive game in a year where Grace was just blowing everybody out. So anyway, I digress from that. I'm just saying it is a lot of fun when some team kind of pops up that probably shouldn't be there. And I think Evangel was one of those bubble teams last year that just kind of got the benefit of the doubt, got in, and then proved everybody wrong. And don't you love that story? I mean, I really love that story. So, will Dakota Wesleyan? Not likely, because it's not likely. But these things can happen. All right, let's just buckle up. This episode is going to be full of heated debates. Weigh in, guys. You see James and Zach are monitoring the feed, and you guys, even if you're catching this on VOD, I still weigh in with your thoughts, and we're always reviewing in the spirit of fun and fandom. The NAIA needs more collective interest, and that will raise the pedestal up quite a bit, and they really need it. I mean, this is a great year to do it in too, because your Langston and your Grace from last year, even the winner last year, Freed Hardeman, I don't know anybody saw that coming. That looked like an obvious thing. I think it's going to be more upsets than ever this year, and the balance is going to be hard to find. Which side are you going to? I do think we're going to see quite a few upsets. All right, so we're gonna run into that. That was hot topic number 1, the LSUS Shreveport controversy. Guys, weigh in. What do you think? Am I wrong? Are we hitting it on the nail on the head? Give us your take. In the southern states, again, how do you feel? They get 6 in. They're good teams. They're not bad teams. I mean, Dalton State, I think they're legit. Like,
even at 6 losses, you think they're still?
I was looking through this and kind of seeing what they have in the bag, and I got them a top 8, potential top 4.
You might have Dalton State going to your Fab 4.
Maybe.
You haven't
They might
yet.
be one of those weird kind of things. They're actually pretty good.
This conference is really hard to evaluate.
You're from Georgia, man. You got to do it.
You'd think, right?
You got to be all over
I
that.
do. I actually grew up right near Life University, so I'm a little more partial to Life. But
They're really good.
They're very scary this year.
We say maybe not 6 from Southern states, but definitely 4.
I'm okay with 4.
The top
I think
3
4
are
is
smoking.
fine. I think 4 is good. 4 would have been safe. 6 out of this okay, here's the weird thing too. Last year, the Southern states, hey Zach, put up that all the conferences, so like if you look at like the Southern states, the HBCU last year, the Gulf Coast, very little respect as far as like national attention, ratings, ranking, whatever, right? And this year, HBCU still too, but the Southern states, that kind of southeast corridor, Southern states gets a lot of love. Very, very surprising to me that they suddenly seem to get all this, all the pick. I mean, Crossroads has been a historically good conference year after year in Indiana, the heart of basketball, right?
Yeah.
And they get 6, and you kind of go, it's a lot, but I mean, it's Indiana, it's basketball country.
I definitely
Southern
think
states 6.
Yeah. I think it's too
Why?
many for Crossroads as well. I mean, bring up the Crossroads.
You want their standings? Yeah, let's do that. Crossroads. Obviously, Grace at the top. They won their conference and the conference tournament, so yeah, no surprise there. But
You got a 17 and 12 team in. I just don't think so. I think you make room for other more
I didn't realize it
legitimate
was that
bubble
bad.
teams.
17 and 12.
Yeah,
But those are quality losses, John. Look at those losses. Those are good losses.
I heard
quality.
it all before.
Did you know that if you if you lose to good teams, those 2 losses actually turn into a win? Did you know that? So they're not really 17 and 12. They're like 19 and 5, really, if you think about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's how it works.
That's called coach's math. I mean,
we
your
got
Grace, your
some-
Bethel, your Bethel,
some chat
Huntington. I mean, Spring Arbor.
All right. Let's see.
By the way, when was the last time Spring Arbor won a national championship? Does anybody out there know? I ran into this stat, so it's not like I
I don't know.
had
Spring
it cooking.
Arbor?
I just kind of ran into it. It's a very significant championship, too. They were the last national champions of the D2.
Really? That's right.
Yeah.
It wasn't that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Good team.
Hey,
Yeah, go ahead.
no, I was going to say, Donald Blankenship, again, Mobile will make a deep run. So just from that Southern states.
Will they?
I
don't know.
maybe. They made it last year, baby.
What's the evidence, Donald? What is the
well,
help
Tom
me.
chimes in. Ezra, All-American type talent in Mobile.
Okay, well,
good
I've seen teams with really great players. The one thing that why I was so high on Grace last year was not Elijah Malone. It was, but it wasn't.
It was fun.
That was
It
just
fun to watch.
part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, the Twins. Historically speaking, I mean, it was just a no-brainer with Grace last year. They were just amazing. I've seen other teams that have really good powerhouse player, and they can only make it so far. It's just going to get. I'm not saying Mobile doesn't make a little run, but I don't know. I don't see them. Matter of fact, I can't get them to Kansas City, to be honest with you. So I'm going to be surprised. I'll just tell you, I'm surprised if Mobile gets to Kansas City.
If Mobile, okay.
And we'll talk a little more as we match it up about why. But
IU Northwest, Cumberlands, and Milligan in their pod. So they'll be in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Not too far. I mean, Mobile is south side of Alabama.
It's not
actually
a super
pretty decent
stretch
drive
to put them there.
Yeah,
I
it is a bit of a drive.
I don't think that it's going to happen.
You got Cumberland, probably Cumberland's.
Yeah, Cumberland's.
It's going to be tough. That's a tough matchup.
They're good.
And at Cumberland's.
Mid-South is good. I mean,
the 3 that made it are very that half of the
ridiculously
Mid-South is they're going to be a challenge.
yeah, they play defense and offense. They showed you how that kind of ball works, and it works really well. And that's another hot topic we'll run into.
My hot topic is how 25% of the entire tournament is hosted by the Crossroads League. Like, I don't think any league should be hosting 25% of a national tournament with 64 teams. That's crazy to me. Like, it's got to spread out a little bit more. That there's
Where
home
would
field
you-
advantage, then there's just
So Huntington got
absolute-
the last TBA,
yeah.
right?
Zach, do you have the map of all of them?
Yeah. Bring that up.
Well,
that's the
arc map. There's a map with
There
So
it
okay,
is.
okay.
That was 12,
so,
right?
So so you can
1,
see
2,
there
3,
and there
4,
there
5,
are
6.
there are red boxes. This is what the NAI put out. 12 host sites. I added in the other sites, which one is Langston right there in the middle. The other three are in Indiana. It's right under that Grace, under that red box where Grace is up there. Huntington, Bethel, and Indiana Wesleyan. All look at that area. Like, it's all geographically the same spot. And
I see 4
toss it-
icons there.
yeah,
There's 4.
yes, there's
Oh,
Grace.
That's what.
there's-
25% of the 16.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's just no reason that that all of those should be should that all three, because remember they announced 12, they added 4 more, and 3 of them were within a pretty small radius right there. Like, that's not right. I don't care who you are.
It's Indiana, James. It's
mean,
Indiana.
look
It's
at that right
basketball.
there.
It's Indiana, the second best state for basketball.
Yeah, that's just, I mean, all in that little zone. Come
So
on.
they announced the other ones. There's reasons, like there's bids that go out, and there's reasons that these teams get the bid to host. They got a good spot. They got a good ranking, seating.
I mean, okay, I get one. I mean, Grace, Huntington. Maybe I get a second one in Bethel. Bethel's been ranked. They're
Yeah, I
top
mean,
25.
at
They're
least
good.
2.
Okay, maybe you get a little love.
All right, so where would you have put there was 4 TBAs.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure it out where the other. So Langston got one. Huntington got one.
Yeah.
Where was the other one?
Langston, Huntington. Other than those two, you mean?
Yeah,
Or
there was 2 more. There's 2 more. that
Bethel
were
and Indiana Wesleyan.
Oh, Bethel was
Right here.
I thought
Yeah,
they
right
were
there.
original. Okay.
Right there. All in this area.
So Huntington and Bethel got the 2. Langston, and where was the other one?
And Indiana, Huntington, Bethel, Indiana Wesleyan, all together.
Yeah, but
And then
you
Langston.
mean
Those
there
are the
wasn't
4.
2 already assigned? So
No.
they got 3 out of the 4?
They got 3 of the 4.
Whoa.
3 of the 4. Which, hey, look, if you already have it decided, just announce it. Like, don't make it this like, oh, we're going to decide the final 4. If you already have it and you're going to do it no matter what,
Yeah, they did kind
just
of
give it
drip
to
that
them.
out.
Even if you go, hey, there's 2 or there's just 1 where you haven't decided, but we know we're hosting, just announce it. This, like, we're not going to do it, and then suddenly they're all in this same region. I mean, for real, how are they all in a small, just a small little area? Like, it's just one state getting 4, and they're next to Kentucky that's getting 2. Like, 6 of the sites are next to each other. Like, what are we doing? Like, no,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I agree with you.
there's a big hole right here in Texas. How about Missouri?
Yeah,
Any
Texas.
team, like William Woods is pretty good. I'm sure they'd like to take that drive instead of go down to Florida.
No, the
Something
deal
closer.
on William Woods was they didn't make a bid.
But even like someone there no one made a bid in Missouri. I mean, maybe not, but come on, there's
I could
like
see
that
with-
region right there.
well,
That's the
listen,
heart. That's
listen
the
with-
heart.
with Southern states getting so many, you would think maybe they would get
True enough.
something.
Right in here,
Maybe
Mobile.
not seated high enough.
Mobile's down there, but even so, like something in that. There are gaps. There are gaps in this.
I researched more on selection committee and that kind of thing. How they really pick the sites. I just thought it was kind of common sense kind of thing.
I did too, but apparently you can get 5
But I did think it
teams
was
from
a
your conference.
little
More of them
weird
hosting.
that they only dripped 12 and then they said TBA for the other 4.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe someone can weigh in on how that works and set us straight. But I do agree. It almost feels egregious.
But the Crossroads gets 5 teams in, and 4 of them are hosting, and typically 80% of the teams that host win their games. Like that's an advantage. That you get a lot of teams in, a lot of wins.
Is this where we insert the old D1 versus D2 guard? So since they merged the 2 leagues,
yeah,
I'm gonna throw a little fuel on the fire.
Okay,
Probably shouldn't do it.
what are the conferences?
Since
Let's see who got in by
they
conference.
they merged those. We've had
Yeah.
4 championships. The first one was won by a D2, and it's oddly,
That was a Shawnee
think-
State.
I think it's kind of weird. It's the first one was I think that's what it was. It was 2 D2 teams in the championship game. Then the next year it's 2 D1 teams, and then the next year it's 2 D2 teams. So, and then last year it was 2 D1 teams.
Mhm.
So it's just kind of interesting how that
Yeah.
works. If you follow the pattern, it's D2 time, right?
Yeah,
So
right.
let's give it up.
We'll see.
And
We'll
here's the other stat. I think they said it was 86% of all host sites end up getting to Kansas City and getting into the championship game. There's 2 different stats. I think it was 86% get to Kansas City, and then a really high number, maybe 80 or 75%, are in the championship game. At least one of the teams in the championship game are a host site. So it kind of makes sense. So I mean, I'm just kidding about the whole D1, D2.
Mm.
It just seems, if you're a good conspiracy
Anyone-
theorist,
yeah,
you
right.
could go, you can
Anyone-
make something out of that.
Anyone
I
who's
think.
followed NAI in the last like 5, 10, 15 years, you know that whole D1, D2 thing is kind of ridiculous. You just don't know who's better each year. There's not like this consistently D1 outperforming
So I
D2.
never understood
That's so weird
and
to
this
me.
is another one. I never understood the divisions. So why hasn't it always just been one?
I know.
It kind of was, and then NAI took a huge transition in the 90s, and I'm historically reading all this stuff, so it's not like I know firsthand. But they don't indicate why, but I think it was 1993, somewhere in that area. It was one league, and then they made it 2, and I'm not sure why they made it 2. So maybe someone out there knows, and they can set us straight on that one as well. It's a lot of
There's a
little
lot of history there.
nuanced stuff
Yeah.
to keep up with. But anyway,
All right. Yeah.
my last.
All right.
Do you have any more hot takes?
Not at the moment. I'll think of more.
I got one. I got my
Yeah?
last one.
What you
This
got?
is going to set the world on fire.
Okay.
Freed does not deserve a number 1.
Freed, the defending national champion, Freed Hardeman.
Are you trying to say they do? Do you think they do?
Man, you just
Prove
trying
me
to get-
wrong.
You're just
What?
trying to get me in trouble. Oh wait, hang on. Yeah, you're telling me, John, these guys don't deserve to be a number 1 seed. These
That's
guys
fine.
right here.
That's
Right here?
hilarious.
You're gonna tell this kid on the front row holding a basketball he doesn't deserve number 1 seed?
That was the tournament, right?
Yeah, it was the tournament.
Yeah,
They did not
yeah.
win. I think they
Who
did not
won
win
the
reg-
season?
Oh, watch this dunk.
Oh,
That's come on now. You're gonna tell
That's
me
one-
that team doesn't deserve a number 1?
that's nice.
Come on. You know they're ready. They're
yeah,
battle tested too.
Yeah, I'm telling you that there's every
Come on.
team in the NAIA probably has a clip like that, and a bunch.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Every team? Come
Every
on,
team.
man.
Every team's got at least
Oh.
one of those clips. So
What?
I mean, it's not like you pulled a rabbit out of your hat. That's probably easy to find.
Man.
And
Anyway,
they
Aaron the
don't.
doer.
So my even
Oh.
hotter take, to make that hot take, I don't think they're above a 3. So I think 3 or 4.
Above a 3?
Yeah,
A 3?
yeah. I think they're a 3. But anyway,
Are you?
yeah,
You're being serious?
Yep.
They're not above
Oh,
a
yeah.
3.
no.
So you wait. So you're saying you're okay with them at 3? If they had a 3 seed, you
Freed's
say?
my new Morningside.
Yeah. Let's pick the defending national champions and let's put them on.
All
the,
right, let's
really? Anyway.
let's start hitting.
All right. Yeah. Let's go. Let's do some. You want to do some numbers?
Yeah, I mean,
Look
well,
at
we've
numbers.
already really gone through the conference numbers. Here, I'll run it down real quick.
Okay.
Really, really quick. Crossroads got 6 in. Southern States got 6 in. Great Plains got 5 in. Cascade got 4 in. KCAT, Kansas, got 4 in. Sooner gets 4 in. I think we're a little more attentive down here to I wouldn't call us Sooner homers, but I would say we're more attentive to it down here in Texas. So I think there could be a good case that Wayland should have made it in. So they could have gotten 5, but they only got 4. I don't think Sooner got any love from anybody all year. That's strange.
Yeah,
But
Sooners a weird conference.
I'd like to hear people's arguments on that.
Texas Wesleyan gets in ahead of.
So Sooner got 4. Wolverine Hoosier got 4. Is that a first? Wolverine Hoosier getting 4?
Certainly seems like it.
I don't think so. I don't think that's a thing. I had to go double check that. I did not believe
they've been like 2, 3.
Okay.
I don't know about 4.
I think 3.
They got 3 last year.
Appalachian gets 3. Great Southwest, the GSAC gets 3. Hart gets 3. Let's look at Hart real quick. Pull that up.
Yeah, Hart.
I mean, Baker is outstanding.
Yeah, they're scary. They I don't know what. I mean, last year we kind of saw them heating up at the end of the season. They got to win the national tournament, and they've taken that and turned it into a 3-loss season so far.
Yeah, I don't know if I get the Mid-American Nazarene 16-8 in
18-12 overall.
Losses.
That's kind of funny. 18-12. I mean, St. Francis, Indiana. I don't know that they have a.
Yeah.
They were 17-12.
Yeah,
so,
I know.
You know?
I think St. Francis no go.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hart was 3. Mid-South is 3. Red River got 3, and we already talked about that. They deserve 4. The Sun 3. I think they only deserve 3. America Midwest 2. CPAC California 2, and then
they got the 2 just off the quantity, or not off quantity, but
no. I mean, their top 2 is good. I'm sorry. I'm thinking Southwest.
Yeah, you're Great Southwest.
In Arizona Christian.
Yeah,
they're real good. So California got 2. Chicagoland 2. HBCU 2. You know, I don't know. They probably could have gotten 3. I think they could get 3. I don't know. It's tough. They had 11 losses. There's some other teams.
Going back to the Wolverine Hoosier, Zach here just confirmed it is the first time they got 4 in.
Yeah, so, that's not a thing. All right. River States gets 2. They lost Park Place.
Point Park.
Park Place. Point Park this year, who was their big time heavyweight, and they went D2. So I checked up on them in the D2 world. Actually, not a terrible season for your first year in D2. I actually thought they represented NAIA going up to 2. I think they ended up with 9 or 10 wins in their overall. There was a lot of close games, so they did good. They represented NAIA up a level, so good for them. Let's see, Continental got 1, Frontier 1, North Star. They're all really small type. Continental's going. They're just not going to get more than 1. Just kind of the way it works. It's a group of independent schools. Get in a conference. All right, so that was conferences by the numbers. And then let's look at the seeds. Let's start stepping through some of these matchups.
Let's see.
All right, I like it. I like the way you got it listed out there.
That's all of them. That's everybody.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So Freed Hardeman, IU Southeast. I think the Southeast run kind of stops here. Even though I don't think Freed Hardeman deserves a 1, I do think that's going to be a between 15 and 20 point win. They are real. When I say they don't deserve number 1, it's just because of the way they played. They're very good. I'm not trying to throw shade saying they're not good. I understand they're good. So Arizona Christian and Westcliff. Is there any remote possibility Westcliff could pull this off?
No.
Weigh in on chat.
No way. Hey, speaking of Tom Whitaker, do you think Langston not living up to being consensus number 1 may have hurt the SAC reputation a bit? Still think Langston is really good.
Tom, I mean, come on. Like, they were in the championship game. What do you mean not living up? I don't understand that.
Well, 24-7. I mean, they're coming off of the national tournament game.
Hold on. They were in the championship game. If you're going to give Freed the love, I think you got to give, because everybody knows that game was slightly controversial. Freed won it,
Yeah,
as far as I'm
sure.
concerned, good win.
Yeah.
But it was close. It was a nail biter. That was either team's game. It just kind of came down to the last shot. So I don't find Langston's performance last year, and then a performance they lost big guy Roy.
Yeah.
They
Man, he was
lost
good.
the other kid, my favorite player on that team, number 15. I forget his name. Man, he was the energizer guy. He just made things happen. So they lost some crucial players. They had a tough little stretch, like we said earlier about Our Lady of the Lake. Have a little bit of stretch. Every team's going to have it. So Langston had a time where their guys got sick. That 24-7. I mean, I think that also plays into Sooner Athletic Conference is just tough. All conference games are going to be tough, but anytime you get 12 or more teams, you're playing round robin. You got to play 24 conference games.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I mean, yeah.
Well, let's keep that comparison. Freed and Langston. Look at
Right.
Freed Hardeman in their conference. Obviously, Mid South is top heavy,
Yeah.
but they have 5 losses and Langston has 7.
Yeah.
Right? So it's 2 more, but it's
Yeah.
not far off. Not that far
think
off.
okay. I'm with Tom a little bit, like in the way that I think Langston probably got ranked where they should have. So that doesn't mean that everybody else in the Sooner should be lowered down too. It's just a very tough. It's one of the toughest conferences in America.
You had Langston at 4.
Yeah, and I think and that's what I said about Freed. They get a 3 at best, maybe a 4. Both of these teams are not the teams they had last year. So, for them to get a number 1. Anyway, we already ran that in. So, yeah, I think it would be a little unfair, Tom, to push the rest of the conference down. Now, there's some good teams in here. I do not think Sooner performed probably as good as they should have. So I don't think they're like number 1 or 2 best conference in the nation, but I do think they're like a top 5, maybe they're 5th best conference in the nation, where they usually are like a 1, 2, or 3. So I think that maybe it wasn't Langston's fault. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
It wasn't Langston's fault.
So you don't think it's their fault it hurt the Sooner reputation?
No, I mean, anything could be possible. I mean, maybe he sees it different, argue it differently, but
Maybe. But
I just like to address the question. No, I don't think Langston should have kept the rest of the Sooner.
I think if Sooner had gotten 3 teams, I think that's a stronger argument. I think that they still
maybe.
got 4.
Maybe.
It is kind of strange though, because when you look at the Sooner standings, Nelson, Langston, MacU, and Texas Wesleyan get in. Not John Brown or Wayland. Wayland made it further in the conference tournament. Then
we didn't talk about that one. Did Texas
Wayland made it further
really
than
deserve
Wesleyan
to get in?
And Wesleyan in at 19-10. Wayland. I guess it's because Wayland's 17-13. The 13 losses
I think I'm
is
putting
tough.
Wayland in. I don't know. I think I'm putting Wayland.
13's a lot of losses. It's 4 above 500. It's not.
Yeah.
I think that's why. I think
Talk
it's just
about
they're
tanking,
winning.
and look, you can look at the numbers. Similar numbers. John Brown has better record than some of the teams that have gotten in, right? Just at large.
Yeah.
But
18-11
John
for
Brown
sure.
did not deserve to go in. They're a good team. They didn't deserve to go in. That was a true case of it just all fell apart and they forgot how to win at the end. They were really good, man, up until like their 4th to the last game. We got to see.
Yeah, they were 18 and
they're
8,
good.
something like that. And
Yeah, man.
on track for 20 wins. That would have done it, I think.
Yeah, John Brown doesn't get in. I don't think Texas Wesleyan gets in.
Well, okay, how about this? 19 wins in the Sooner gets you in. So if John Brown can win 2 more, I think they're definitely in.
Yeah.
And maybe Wesleyan's on the outside looking in. I don't know.
Yeah. It was just the upper middle was very, very hard. I'm gonna just here's a controversial statement, I'm sure. Central Christian, I'd like to see Central Christian play the upper mid tier of every conference. I think they have a winning record. Central Christian is a very good basketball team, and they just couldn't win the close games. That is
Dakota
their
Wesley.
year
Let's
in.
see.
Yeah,
Let's see.
bro. I mean, I'd put them up against Morningside. The top three in GPAC, they're very good.
And Morningside won the conference tournament, so
Yeah.
they're good too.
Yeah, I mean, I
They can
think
shoot the
yeah, they are. They're very good. I'm picking.
But, yeah.
I've got some horses on them. So, yeah.
How the turntables.
I think it was more just the production of Sooner Athletic that ultimately got in the way, but it's very hard to see. As we said, we don't get to see a lot of games from other conferences, not visually. It's hard to understand. It's hard to look at a stat sheet and just understand what went on. All right, let's move past that. Go back to the
Go back here.
The College of Idaho. Merced's not going to do anything. Stillman, LSUA. If there was ever a 1/16 upset in this bracket, it could be that one. I don't think it's going to happen, but out of all of them, I think LSUA probably got the worst draw. So go down to Cornerstone. They play Spring Arbor. I think that is a very interesting matchup. That's an 8-9, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So we're in the 8-9 section. That's a tough one. That is a very, very tough one.
That is really tough.
All these 8-9s.
Yeah.
All these.
I'm
most confident in Indiana Tech. Most confident in Indiana Tech. Then I would say Nelson over Middle Georgia State. I have not seen anything on Middle Georgia State, so we'll see. But Nelson is very good. They're a very good team. They got an acquisition in January of a player named Micah Clark. I think he's probably one of the best players in the NAIA. His stats are not going to show it because he kind of came mid, and he's just a very talented player. He was a D1 transfer, I believe, and if he stays at this level, the sky's the limit for him.
Okay.
So Indiana Tech goes.
Okay, Friends in Florida Mem. Okay, last year. Florida Mem, number 2 seed, lose in the opening round. Was to Evangel, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't that to okay. Evangel had a little bit of a
I'm going to give it to Florida Mem. I'm going to say they are scary.
You think they come back and they go, we're not letting this happen again?
Yeah.
Because 8-9's a lot tougher than 2-15. That's for sure. Like that's going to be
for them. I don't think it will be this year.
Now,
but
I'm going to throw in some.
Who are you picking?
I think KCAC's way overrated. Especially Friends was last one in.
I didn't know you had that hot take in you.
No, they are tremendously overrated. I don't think any of them are getting to Kansas City. I really don't. I have no faith in that conference. I'm sorry to all those KCAC people who are going to blow up
Who's
my
the best team
Twitter
in
feed.
KCAC?
Let's see. Let's take a look at the standings. I'm gonna pick it right now. It might be St. Mary. I'm gonna go St. Mary. They just won the conference tournament. They're hot. I'm gonna go with the hot hand.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
You're gonna pick against the Donnie Bostwick.
But look at Friends.
Wesleyan?
7 losses. 7 losses to win your no. 3 no.
That is kind of high. But the only 3 losses in conference.
No, you don't get to. You don't get to be the premier conference with that many. I don't see
Okay,
that.
go back to the thing. Now that you bring this up, what is Oklahoma Wesleyan's seed? Where are they playing?
Let's see. I think they got I want to say 4, but I think they're more like.
You don't
7,
have the
8.
numbers there. I can't see because.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I can barely see.
Yeah, here we'll do this. Let's see, Oklahoma Wesleyan. They're 7. Yeah, they're listed in bracket against MacU. Yeah,
Seven.
I think they got the toughest pod because Oklahoma,
Really?
Wesley, and
Are
Mackey.
they
Yeah,
in the
and then
Dort
they'll play.
pod?
Yes, they played
Oh,
Dort,
yeah, they
winner
are.
Dort tickets in state. So, I think that is.
I don't think that's. Oh, wait a minute. They're playing Mac U.
Yeah, to open just to
If
start
I'm
the
not
tournament.
mistaken, you guys fact check me on this. I think no, Mac U did not play Oklahoma Wesleyan this year. I think they
I
do
don't
every
think
now and
they
then.
did. Yeah,
because they're very close.
they are. Both in
Um,
Oklahoma.
let's see. But Oklahoma Wesleyan lost. A lot of those 7 losses came from. I think 3 of them came from the Sooner Athletic Conference. So I do not think Mac U was one of them though.
Sorry, I was trying to Zach's mic. Go ahead.
Is Zach talking?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Is it not coming through?
I don't hear him.
Well,
But anyway, that's going to be a very Josh Gamblin and Donnie Boswick. That is a classic NAIA matchup. Circle that one on your calendar, fans. Man, watch that game. That is going to be a 7-10. I think that is a coin flip all the way. These two coaches are winning coaches. Josh Gamblin is a NAIA Red Banner champion. I want to say
a couple years, but
Donnie may have won one in the D2 ranks, maybe 2. So these guys are championship coaches. That is going to be a fun game to watch. I can't wait, actually.
Yeah. No, that's a fun pod. Up in Dort.
Yeah, yeah. I've looked at some more than others. I can't believe I missed that one.
Yeah.
Like that, somehow I glanced over that, and that one didn't hit me really strong. I don't know who I would pick. Who would I pick?
Good luck.
Man, he's got the big Oklahoma Wesleyan has the big Litsky, I think his name is.
Yeah, Jason Litsky. Yeah, he's
wow. He's a handful. Mac U, just they'll run all around you.
No, I mean I
don't know that I can pick that right now. I got to really think about that.
That's a tough pod.
All right, go back up. We were at Nelson Middle. I got Nelson, and then I get we got Florida Mem. I got Florida Mem. Who you got?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Blankenship here. Friends shocks the world if they get by Florida Memorial. I think Florida Memorial's got it.
So,
I think they do.
So are they going to do? It's not the equivalent because that was last year was a 215. But Evangel got by Florida Mem, and then they just got supercharged. They're like, we beat like number 5 or 6, overall.
Whatever.
Wow.
I don't care. I think.
Man, you throw a shade at Evangel. Wow.
I think Friends
that was an impressive run. I mean, that was amazing.
Well, that was, but there's always a team. A Central.
Okay, well,
Baptist
could it be
also
Friends?
made a run.
Could that be Friends?
No, it's not. It's not. They're an 8. Friends is an 8. They've got like 49 losses this year. Like they're not an 8 seed, and they're in the KCAC. Like, what are we doing here, people? Like, no, we're not gonna gas up Friends.
I don't know.
As they say, get to the tournament and prove it before you start. We're gonna make the deep run in there.
Now.
Especially at the 8-9.
I think the best 8-9 game is going to be Cornerstone Spring Arbor. Those two teams know each other, and I literally am going to have to flip a coin. I don't know. Somebody weigh in on it. Indiana Wesleyan beats Madonna. Mobile beats
Spring
IU
Arbor beat
Northwest.
Cornerstone back earlier this year, back on the other side of the calendar, 2024.
I think Morningside got a tough draw.
Yeah, they
Hope
got
International.
they're with Bethel too in that pod.
Here's what I like about that matchup for Morningside though, is they can slow it down. They can play defense as well. They can put up some points. I think they're averaging like 80 points or whatever. But Hope International is nothing but run and gun. And if you let them have if they get to set the pace and you have to follow, Hope International wins that. But I think Morningside's too disciplined, so I'm gonna get them an early win, and then Bethel Peru State. There's no way I can go against Bethel there in that pod, so could be a Morningside Bethel. That'll be a classic middle United States matchup. That's going to be fun. Central Baptist William Carey. Central Baptist. They're just on a roll. I don't know what happened to them. They got good and they stayed good. So Central Baptist.
Okay.
Langston over St. Mary. You said you liked St. Mary as the best team in the KCAC. They're about to. I don't think it's going to be a destruction like last year, Langston, but I do think Langston imposes their style of basketball on them, and they will walk away a good winner. I think they beat Oklahoma Wesleyan pretty good this year. So
going back to the Friends discussion in that College of Idaho pod.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's already the friend.
Whoa.
The number one.
That is
Falcons
what that
fan.
means. Wow.
I have College of Idaho losing in the second round to. Obviously to. I presume.
I just
losing
got
to Friends.
I mean, are they really that good? I mean, could they do that? I was a College of Idaho naysayer last year. I'm kind of on the train this year.
Oh, you're back now that they won the national tournament and went back to the Fab Four. Now we're.
Well, they
now we're
didn't win last year. What are you
2
talking
years
about?
ago, like 2 years ago.
Well, but I was against them last year.
Yeah, at least that's what I'm saying. They won it. They went to the Fab Four, and now you're like, okay, maybe they're actually.
Yeah, but no, there was no doubt they got an easy ride, bro. They floated up to that Final Four.
Yeah, it was.
But I think they're good this year. I don't. Oh man, I don't know. I don't know that I could put Friends over them. Huntington Lords. Is there any way Lords could knock Huntington off?
Man,
Is that Illinois versus Indiana?
man,
there
that
any kind of
that
pride
might end
there?
up being my toughest pod. Northwestern Graceland and then Huntington Lords. I mean,
Man, that is a
It's gonna
tough
be-
pod.
that's going to be tough.
That is a tough pod.
What's crazy is Northwestern. They're not hosting it. Like I feel like they always host the pod that they're
That
in.
is crazy.
But
yeah.
but it went to Huntington on that last 4 sites awarded.
Mm-hmm.
Went to Huntington, which
All right,
crazy.
so I'm gonna go Graceland with the upset.
the Graceland.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Graceland with the upset.
Really,
They're sneaky.
the first round, Northwestern's out.
If I'm going to pick an upset, it's probably that one.
All right, all right.
It was Morningside last year.
Nothing I
it's
can do, Zach.
Northwestern
He's
this
the
year.
one that said Northwestern's going down in the opening round to.
Huntington
Graceland.
over Lords. I don't think there's any way Lords can do it.
All right, then Huntington and Graceland.
Yeah.
Since we're just picking teams now,
Actually,
making up stuff.
No, we're not making up stuff. You watch and see. Make a note. Graceland's going to go to Kansas City.
Graceland's going
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Kansas City.
Yeah, Graceland's going to Kansas City.
Hey, clip that out. We're going to need that in a second. Graceland to Kansas. All right. Well, that's bold. Bold move, Cotton. But
So Lewis Clark wins, and Georgetown, Shreveport. I think Georgetown should be scared. So,
Georgetown's a weird team. You know, they didn't win the regular season. They didn't win the conference
No.
tournament.
and here's the thing.
Playing
All
a-
right,
are there
we
other
talked about the controversy, right? We talked about it.
Yes.
Imagine being Coach Blankenship to his guys and like, I went out on the
Yeah.
limb. I went out on the limb, guys.
Yeah.
Like,
You know he's going to have that
this is
discussion in
history.
the locker room.
No,
man.
I mean,
Yeah,
I can imagine so
100%.
many awesome speeches I can
Yeah.
make on that whole scenario. I'm going to go Shreveport with the upset.
You're picking Shreveport
I'm
after
going
we
with
just spent
Shreveport
like
with the
30
upset.
minutes saying why Our Lady and Texarkana should get in. We're just gonna scoot
Evangel
them
shouldn't have
past
gotten in either.
Georgetown.
Yeah, Evangel shouldn't have gotten in either. So I take it back. My big upset pick is Shreveport over Georgetown.
Shreveport over Georgetown. Okay. All
I'm
John.
just saying, man. You know how momentum and you supercharge the air with a lot of. You got to do this. I mean, the mind's a very powerful thing. If you get the mind right, bro, Shreveport could.
Well,
Blankenship's got Graceland as well.
Yeah, he's back.
Awesome.
He's in with that. He also pointed out the Northwestern big man's out for the year. So.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I'm doubling down on Graceland. They're going to Kansas City.
Man.
I've watched a couple of their games this year. I actually, for some reason, their feed comes up to me more than a lot of others. So I end up watching a lot of the Graceland home games. And I just think they're good. I thought they were good last year. They just weren't good enough. And then they've just capitalized and improved. They've had to play Baker. Very tough conference. Very, very tough conference, especially on the top side. So, did you change? I was looking for. Give me the other side, like the other bracket.
Okay.
The way the bracket looks, the actual real bracket.
Yeah. Go to this. Oh, this is a different one.
Yeah.
This is a
all right. New quadrant. Free gets it. I'm going Spring Arbor. I'm going Indiana Wesleyan.
You picked here. Oh, you did pick Wesleyan? Okay. And
yep.
And Life, I presume.
Life, of course. I think they're very good. They're another one of those that could make a strong run.
Okay.
I don't think anybody knows anything about them.
Yeah, they are very much under the radar.
They're very strong. Montana Tech, only because they beat Southern Oregon earlier in the season. So it looked like a good, strong win for them. So I'm going to pick them again.
About the Masters.
Oh, yeah. No way Masters loses this. That high-powered offense, they'll score 110 points.
I think that's Montana Tech's pod, too, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're hosting
Faulkner. This is interesting. Kaiser's good, but I think Faulkner needs to win if Southern States ever wants another shot at more than 3 teams in the deal, 3 or 4. This is, Southern States. So the Sun, Southern States. It's going to be down at Kaiser. I'm going to go Kaiser, but I have a sneaky feeling that Faulkner could pull off a little bit of an upset there. Wouldn't be a huge upset, but I think they could do it, but I'm going to go with Kaiser. William Woods destroys Dillard.
Destroys them?
Yeah.
I mean, William Woods, I think they have one of the best records, if not the best record in the NAIA.
They're crazy good.
2 losses, maybe.
They're crazy good.
I think College of Idaho might be a little better, but they're up there. All right, let's see. Did we do Kramer yet?
Kind of, but not all the way. So we got down to Cumberland's. I said Cumberland's over Milligan, Mobile over Northwest, Indiana Tech wins, Arizona Christian wins.
Indiana Tech. It's going to be a good game. That's one game I'm like, I want to watch that one.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game. It's a great 8-9. I think they got all the 8-9s right.
They're going to be good.
However, I do think Nelson probably deserved a 6, but the second. So Nelson gets out of there first, which I don't think is a good matchup for Middle Georgia State. But playing LSU Alexandria, whoo,
yeah,
that's going to be tough.
Out of the frying pan into the fire, something like that. That'll be a good game on Saturday.
Yeah. Alexandria's got some payback to Nelson because a year ago Nelson went. They came down to Texas and Nelson beat him by 40, I believe, something like that, 30 or 40.
That's disgusting.
So I'm sure that's going to be in their heart.
There will be no hard feelings there.
Let's see. Grace wins easily.
Against that Carolina, that new team to the NAIA, and congratulations, you're in the tournament. Here's Grace. It sounds nice, but They're gonna get.
So, yeah, I think Pikeville wins. Can Xavier pull off an upset there?
I don't know. I think Ave Maria's sneaky good this year. They might be a little too much.
Yeah. I'll go Ave Maria, and then I love me some St. Mary of the Woods. I think they're so good. They out-rebound everybody they play. Their defense is pretty good.
Against Dalton State. Isn't that the number 1 team in the Southern States?
Yep.
So you have the number 1 team in the conference that got 6 teams in. You have the number 1 of that conference.
Well, I didn't say who was going to
1.
win. I'm just saying I want to see this game.
Oh, okay. Because that would be that would really justify the crowd that goes, how the Southern States get 6 teams in.
Yeah, well, if St. Mary of the Woods wins that, then never again.
And I don't think St. Mary has a lot of tournament wins. Look at
No, they got a really tough one last year. I was high on them,
0-1, yeah.
And they had to play a big seed, like a Northwestern or something.
Last year was their first year, so they they need that win.
Yeah, they could get this. They could. This is doable for them, but it's going to be at Dalton State. I think home court advantage maybe gets Dalton State over. We'll see.
Oh,
but
Dalton
I
State's
really like
8-2 in their
Woods.
history.
They just can't get a good draw. It's no respect for the River States.
No, none.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
Let's see. We did go to Liston.
Concordia Bethel. Concordia wins.
For sure.
Bethel beats Peru State. I already talked about the whole. I think it's going to be Morningside.
Oh, wait.
Bethel.
What about Baker, Texas Wesleyan? Stay in that pod. Did you say Baker yet?
Man, you talk about a team that did so well all year. They get this is going to be interesting. So Texas Wesleyan can win that. I don't think they will, but they can. They've got the talent. If they put all that talent together, they finally kind of hit stride. They will beat Baker. I just don't see it happening, but the talent is there. Baker's chemistry is fantastic. So I'm gonna go Baker, but that is a kind of a iffy.
I think Baker's hosting that pod, aren't they?
They are.
Okay.
They're
going to have to be
handy.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt.
That's a good atmosphere up there.
Yeah.
So
fans.
I think they win, but it.
But if they're not shooting well, you can see Texas Wesleyan being
you
physical.
You walk in, you're going to see Texas Wesleyan. They're scary. Texas Wesleyan just like they got a couple 7-footers. I mean, guys that can move.
So
you're going to go, how does this
Yeah.
team lose? I guarantee. People are going to look at them and go, what? How? Before you see them play, you go, how does this team lose? It's been the chemistry for them. Oklahoma Wesleyan, Mackey, we already kind of hit it. I don't know what to pick, man.
I don't know either. That feels like coin flip, but I mean, I'm picking MacU.
Are you?
I am.
I'm gonna go. Then I'm gonna go
Two
Wesleyan.
really good coaches in that matchup.
I'm gonna go Wesleyan. It's a 50-50 for me.
Yeah.
Dort wins easy.
I was gonna say
Dort
I feel
beats
like
either MacU or Wesleyan.
Sorry. I think Dort's got that.
So they come out. Dort comes out.
And they're hosting.
I think Concordia probably comes out to Kansas City. And I think
Concordia beats Baker?
Huh?
You have Concordia beating Baker?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the 6 seed. In the
I think GPAC's really, really strong.
You want to say that again when your face is on the camera, just for all those who are.
No, this year they are. They're really, really strong.
They are. No, they can. Let's see. You want to go to Naismith quadrant?
Yep. Let's finish her up.
All right.
All right.
Naismith. College of Idaho, you already said. We talked Friends, Florida Mem. Did you pick winner in that one yet? That 8-9?
The Friends Memorial?
Friends of Florida Memorial?
I said Florida Mem, but
you did have Florida Mem. Okay.
But we got some Friends fans on here trying to talk me out of it.
I don't know how you. Oh, hey, going back to that Baker. Tom Whitaker's intelligence agencies alerted him that spring break at Baker. So who knows that the student section at Baker? Like I want to say there's a tweet recently
That is
kinda
a
went
good
viral,
point.
but
Wow, that is a good point. Because
it is spring break season here in March, and these students are in and out of these schools.
I do. Okay, so the one thing about NAIA schools, they're not these schools that bring in tons. So I would say 80% of the student base is within 100 miles. I'm guessing. I mean, it's a bit of an educated guess, but that's just kind of the way it happens for NAIA schools.
Yeah. The small private colleges, they've got a very dedicated local fan base.
The brand awareness is just closer to home. So I will tell you, we saw Baker last year in person, and they traveled well. So that's a good point though. It might not be as big of a factor. So if it's not a factor, it just, man, Texas Wesleyan is, if they play good, they will crush you. If they don't, you will beat them. You just stick to your game plan, you'll beat them. Anyway, go back.
Yeah, let's go back.
But that was good.
Let's see. You had Florida Mem, Central Baptist William Carey, another Southern
Central
States.
Baptist. Yes.
Okay. Langston St. Mary.
Langston.
Okay.
I
No
don't
question
know.
there. Okay.
20%
Northwest
chance for St. Mary.
Northwestern.
Graceland. That's the Graceland. Remember Graceland pick
them.
And then I did Huntington.
And then right down here, you did
Lewis Clark.
And LSU
and
Shreveport
I said
with
Shreveport.
a battle.
Yeah.
To get
but all right. So this
City.
is good. But before we kind of end it out, I want to tell you guys, and this is definitely. I love the live interaction, and we'll go live a couple more times this week, and really try to hype all this up and get everybody excited about the NAIA tournament. But we are trying to show our support by helping the fans along, and the coaches and the student athletes. We've developed an app is maybe a bit of a strong word, but you go to this URL, and James, pull it up. It's so
CSPI.
So if you guys can see that, it's the CSPI.championsports.network, and so go to not that page, James.
Okay.
Go to the compare. So here's the app for everybody. So if you were trying to do you want to get a good look at all the stats. So you go in, bring it, like, let's don't do those two teams.
Okay.
Do, like, type in, just do a matchup. What, Georgetown, LSUS.
All right.
So pick it, and then on the other side, LSUS. Since that is actual matchup, and then you can see. So we have at the top our algorithm that rates them. Then you actually see the RPI, the NAIA RPI, and then you can see the NAIA's strength of schedule. Both of those figures, I think you can just throw them out. They're terrible. Then now you'll get into a lot of just the pure stat analytics. Keep going. And the one thing we did introduce is, so you can see home, away, neutral. We did the quad wins and losses, so you can see what each team did. The NAIA instituted this quad concept. So if a team, you have to go to the NAIA site to really get the rundown on who's in quad 1, who's in quad 2, and all that. And it's based on win percentage. And they do it retrospectively, so I should say aggregated. So all the games this year, it's not It's not based on when you played them what was their strength of schedule. It's like where it ended up. And then they get assigned to each team is in a quad. And then if you win that, so that's a really, really interesting metric. And you can see, I think it's the top 45 teams is in quad 1, and then so forth. They break it out like the next 45's quad 2, next, and it gets it on down to all the teams. Then you get all your scoring
Georgetown
analytics.
got a pretty good point differential there, 15 versus 5, 6.
Okay, yeah, I'll talk about that in a minute. We'll go back to the other side, but just keep running down. So you get your scoring metrics, you get your field goal percentage metrics, how good's the 3, and you could type any team to get any. This will be ongoing for the future, but try it out for the tournament and see if it works for you, helping you make a decision. And I probably on some of those coin flips, I should have used the system here to make my decision, because I will ultimately when I fill out my bracket.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then at the top, you'll see you can go to all teams. If you click on all teams, then you'll get the table breakout. And at the table breakout, this is a good list view. So right now it defaults to CSPI in the order of our CSPI weighted value system. But you can go to point differential. Did you click on it?
Yeah, there it is.
There you go.
Now it's sorting.
So point differential. All right. So this is a key metric that I use a lot to determine. Now, the top 2 teams are significantly ahead. And then you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with less than a point apart. And their point differential. That's going to be hard. So you're going to have to pair up some other metrics to see what you think about how they're going to perform. But College of Idaho and William Woods, they are by far and away better than everybody else in that point differential. Now you go, that can have a lot of other meanings to it. Like, did they play cupcakes to get that or whatever? That's true. It could be, but James, go put a 24 and go back to last year's. I want to show you guys something. CSPI 24.
Yeah. Zach put in at the URL CSPI24.championsports.
Just put a 24 for last year's right after the CSPI. All right, that'll bring up last year's at the end of the year. So now hit point differential. Now notice the top 4 teams.
Langston, College of Idaho, Grayson, Freed, Hardeman.
That was your final 4 last year. So,
and they're all in the 20s too. They were the only teams that were in the 20 plus.
Yeah, I don't think that's an accident. So, and they definitely didn't get that. That was focusing on the season, throughout the season. So I think point differential is a good metric to pay attention to. It's not the end all be all, but I do think maybe a good place to start, and then start culling off some of your maybe more weighted, like I like assisted turnovers. I know a lot of coaches, we don't keep it because that is a very presto, sidearm. They don't keep points per possession. Right. So coaches love that metric. I'm not so high on it, but I get it. It does tell some story. I would look at assist to turnover, maybe rebounds, and then we have some weighted type of values. How good does a 3-point shot? I don't know. In the tournament at the end, I'm not put a lot of weight on the 3-point shot. Although I think that's how Freed won.
I was going to say, I'm kind of I support it only because I think it's everything except the end of the game. Like, teams that shoot a lot, like if you're hitting threes, you get a good lead. It's just a big part of their game. So it's more of like
but you don't get clutch factor from 3-point percentage.
No.
And we weighted 3-point percentage intentionally pretty hard in our
Yeah.
metric, because over a season,
Right.
and that's what we're looking at over the season, how did you perform overall? But when it comes to tournament time and you need clutch,
It's rarely
it's hard
the
to
3.
tell.
Yeah.
you live by the 3, you die by the 3.
See,
But
I feel like
teams that
dying by
play-
3 is important though, right? Because like if
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
a big
absolutely.
time, you're big time
Absolutely.
shooting 3-point team, have a
And
bad
this is
night,
what
you're
makes
done.
Donnie
instantly.
Bostwick teams and Oklahoma Wesleyan, they're so good on defense. And
Yeah.
defense, that's why defense wins, is they kind of they find a little more will, tenacity. They extend their defense out to the perimeter a little better.
Yeah.
They're more focused. So that's why teams notoriously shoot worse from the 3-point line in postseason play. Like when it's one and done, your 3-point percentage goes way down. So anyway, things like that, you can develop your own kind of metric out of that. But that is a neat little tool. We were glad to develop it. It helps us not just for picking teams as well. It just helps us get to know what the team structures look like at a glance, especially if we do a versus type of matchup. So for some of you analytical nuts, I think you're going to love how easy it is to find out how teams do against each other.
Yeah.
And we did this with some of the bubble teams, and it was interesting. Yeah, there you go. All right, you're bringing up. We opened that up, and then I thought I put some stitches in it, but evidently.
No, I want to look at this because I cannot. Okay, here's the ironic thing. You did pick Shreveport over Georgetown, but Shreveport does have the better CSPI against Texarkana, who they just played. But
Mine
over the
is
season,
purely solely not on stats. It's guys, we got to go do this. We got to go do this. Yeah. And matchups are so important. I think LSU-S is a tough matchup for anybody. And if they can just lock down on defense, I think that Georgetown-Shreveport game will be ugly. Shreveport wins ugly games. Period.
Yeah. I still don't know how they're in here, but okay.
They are. Yeah. So get over it.
Yeah.
And it's tough. I hate it for Our Lady of the Lakes. I think they should be in. I think Texarkana should be in. It's a travesty that they got out. Unfortunately, it's not the best 64 teams that get in. If it was, they're in all day. So it is. It's just so bad, but you just kind of got to learn, let it be a character building moment and move on. And then
character.
And then,
champions of character, yes.
And then, let it change your future. Yeah, channel the energy in a positive way and let it contribute to the goodness of your future. All right. Anything else, James?
I'm just going to spend the rest of the night looking at the CSPI and comparing these teams in the tournament so I can help maybe decide on some of these bracket decisions, man. This bracket's tough this year. This feels like a very even bracket across the board. Like
it is.
When you look at,
I think
when I look at all of these, man, like
we didn't get enough upsets.
I don't know who's gonna win. Like I really look at this and I don't have that. Like last year was Grace Langston, and Freed got in, but like Freed was still a 1 seed last year, I think, or 2 seed. I mean, they were up there. This year,
which one? Freed
Hardiman.
Let's see Freed's second round real quick. Freed's.
If they win their first,
Spring, yeah, I'm trying to locate them. Let's see. So I'm saying Spring Arbor. Do Freed versus Spring Arbor
in
CSPI.
Okay. Go look at that. Freed and Spring Arbor. Pretty
strong right there.
Yeah.
Every category.
See, the weird thing is Freed has that number 1 in strength of schedule. That's part of why they got that 1 seed.
Do Cornerstone Spring Arbor.
I think.
Wow. Now do in okay. So
much higher on the CSPI.
Yeah. Absolutely. So now do Spring. Do you have point diff on score?
On here?
Yes.
Yeah, if you scroll down. Yeah.
Let's see.
the very
what's
bottom of
point
scoring.
diff? Ooh. Ooh,
Cornerstone,
Cornerstone,
11.7.
that'd be a big upset for Spring Arbor.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I may end up changing that for my actual.
But I think the reason Spring Arbor
bracket.
got in, we were talking about them. Well, I think maybe more St. Francis. But if you scroll to the top, Zach, you'll see that the strength of schedule is very high, which is very important to the Raiders. 11th.
Yeah. So, okay, let's say Cornerstone wins.
Yeah.
And let's look at that versus Freed Hardeman.
Yeah, Cornerstone and Freed.
There we go. Closer. Definitely closer.
Definitely.
That's upset territory.
Yeah, go down to point diff. Let's see what that looks like.
That strength of schedule is garbage. There's no way.
Close.
Oh,
11.7
man,
to 12.4.
that is going to be a game. I'm going to go Spring Arbor. Freed
What's
doesn't go back to Kansas City.
Are you saying Spring Arbor is going to beat Freed?
No. Cornerstone's going
Cornerstone,
to beat Freed. If that matchup happens, Cornerstone wins.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Pretty bold prediction there, having Spring
No, I
Arbor
don't think
to
so.
Kansas City.
I don't feel like that's on a limb. I think it comes down kind of to the end. I don't think Freed's as good as they were last year.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I didn't do the side by side between Cornerstone and Spring Arbor. So now that I see it, I'm like, that's going to be out of reach for Spring Arbor. So, that looks like a Cornerstone no-brainer pick, Freed no-brainer pick, and then Cornerstone with the slight upset, keeping Freed Hardeman out of. We should run an analytic that shows how many teams that were in the championship game did not come back to Kansas the next year. Or didn't get to the Sweet 16 or whatever it's called.
Right. Yeah, but we've only done the 64th team tournament, 2-3 times now? I mean, there was 2021 didn't count because that was they did 16 teams or whatever total. That was adjusted year, 30, maybe 32.
Mm-hmm.
As one, then 2, 3. Yes, this would only be 3 years. And Shawnee State didn't make it back after the year they won. Lewis Clark State might have. So yeah, maybe half are getting back, something like that. College of Idaho did last year, and Langston did.
Yeah,
I think I want to say Langston lost to College of Idaho 2 years ago. I could be wrong on that.
maybe. No, not 2 years ago. Possibly. Yeah, possibly. Anyway, all right.
Yeah.
All right. Good talk, man. That was a good look at the NAIA National Tournament. That was our reaction, and we'll come back at you in a couple days, and surely on Thursday we'll dive in as the games get going and kind of talk about what we're seeing happening.
And lock in your predictions.
Yeah, on Wednesday. We'll
give you time to think about that Georgetown pick, that early Georgetown.
Tweet at us if you're on X, and tell us what your big upsets are. I think there's going to be upsets this year, so more than usual. So if you got upsets, let us know. Tweet at us and let us know you're upset. All right, you got anything else, James?
That's it.
All right, awesome. Thanks, guys. Man, this is a lot of fun, and we'll keep it rolling. This is the best time of the year. It's Christmas for me. Well, not Christmas, but it's March Madness. It's a great time. All right. Until the next time, we will see you later.